11:42 a.m. Please go ahead and get your food, and anytime if you want seconds, whatever, just help yourself. We're happy for you to do that. And would somebody grab me an agenda? I kind of forgot that in the minutes. So sorry, I forgot to grab a copy of that. You are my hero, thank you. All right, so the first thing we need to do is welcome you. We have minutes from our last meeting on April 10th. If you would take just a few seconds to look over those and make sure there are no errors there. And if there are, we'll have to get that fixed. So take just a minute to look over those. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, I would like a motion to accept the minutes as recorded. Does anybody want to make that motion? Okay. Did you get that one, Cam? Cam Bridgers? Okay. Could I get a second? Lissa Radel-Huber. All right. All in favor of accepting the minutes as written, please say aye. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So we want to welcome any new members that might be here today. Is there anybody here for the very first time? Okay. Could you please introduce yourselves? Yourself?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Joni Saracini. I am QMHP at North Texas Behavioral Health.
I'm sorry, would you say your name again?
Joni Saracini.
Joni Saracini? Saracini.
Yes.
Got it? Joni, we're so glad you're here. We hope you'll just keep coming.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else here for the first time? All right. Well, we're going to start with our updates. Sherry is not here. Is Tom here? Anybody from? Oh, there you are. I was looking right past you. Oh, would you mind coming up and giving us our REACH updates?
All right, good morning. Yeah, it's real basic stuff. If there's any schools that are looking for presentations, activities, we still have some availability for the end of the year. I know it can be very, very busy and a lot of things packed in at the end of the school year, but we're happy to accommodate some of those requests as we have those. And definitely if anybody wants to start planning for the next school year, especially things like Red Ribbon Week and some of these other high volume activities that come around, feel free to reach out and we can get those things going. We had the drug take back a few weeks ago, so that was very successful. It was hosted out of Coleman, where ones from the county came and brought the prescription unwanted, unused medications, and they were able to be disposed of in a safe, anonymous manner. So we do those twice a year with the Sheriff's Department and coordination with a lot of other PDs as well. So yeah, if you got any questions for any programs, let me know.
Thank you. Yeah, our nurses have even been able to take advantage of that to dispose some of the expired medications in our clinics. So we're very thankful for that. That's awesome. Okay, Ginger Robinson is going to come next and give her end of the year counseling report.
Is it on from here? Okay. All right, cool. All right, last month, since we decided we were going to have a May meeting, I wanted to give you guys the most accurate numbers that we could. So I saved it for this month. So I'm going to give you just our final numbers for what I have to report for our 24-25 school year. So Care Solace, just a reminder, is our care coordination program for the district. It helps students, staff, and their families connect with mental health and substance abuse treatment. And so this year we've had 3,682 communications, 68 total cases, meaning that the clients became involved with Care Solace and they were able to find help and resources using Care Solace. They made 30 appointments. Those cases ended up creating 30 appointments, and we had 76 anonymous searches. We have the ability, our counselors can track it, or a person can search anonymously through as well. We don't get as much data from those anonymous searches, but we are able to see that they're using the system. The highest referral need that we had, I thought was interesting, is anxiety and with our families and students. Our second update, if Jansen sees any off numbers, he can holler at me. Is our mental health services, our Next Steps counselors. A reminder, there are licensed mental health providers. They're located across all of our WISD campuses. They provide our one-on-one therapy and some group therapy for some of our campuses. At this point, we've had 390, from my latest report, we have 393 clients, and they've held 2,534 sessions with those clients. And their highest referral need, anxiety. Wanted to point that out, that is what our highest needs are right now with our families and our students. Good numbers, Jansen? That's correct. Okay. All right, and Mind Above Matter, just a reminder that is our intensive after-school program that we house in the district. It's for our highest need students for IOP and PHP. We currently have 9 clients. They only take 10 at a time. And remember, these kiddos rotate out every 6 to 8 weeks, depending on what their provider says that their amount of stay is. So it's a constant running group of those students. So we have currently 9 in there, and we have discharged 32 for this school year, which is incredible that we've been able to provide that service for our students. We will run the clinic through the summer. Last summer, because we had so much construction going on around our campuses, we did not run the clinic. They took our students, either they did them virtually or they transported them to their brick and mortar in Burleson. So it was a little tricky, but this year we're gonna be able to keep our clients here, housed all during the summer. They'll adjust their hours. They're gonna go from 9 to 1, I believe, 9 to 1 or 9 to 2. So the students will still be here, they'll still be on campus, they'll still be getting their services, and we will continue through the summer right now with 9 clients. So I'm pretty happy that we can still provide that for our students.
Would you take referrals for that during the summer?
We do. So our counselors, they provide us a QR code so that if a parent reaches out to one of our counselor's email will have that QR code on there, and they'll be able to, a parent can scan in. So we will still be able to take referrals through the summer. Yep, good question. And then finally, I want to talk about our new position. Monica Taylor, and what we've talked a lot, she's presented to you guys about what our new role is. She is our mental health and counseling coordinator for the district, and so she services our entire district and our gen ed behavior population, also supporting our tier 1, which is our whole classroom, working on preventative behavior support, teaching our teachers how to prevent behaviors so that we're not getting to these numbers where we're needing our tier 2 and tier 3 supports, which is our one-on-one counseling and our individual intensive counseling. So we're really working on the preventative side with Monica's position. So there are her numbers. It's pretty, she's written 46 crisis intervention plans. She has done 87 Tier 1 prevention plans. And her Tier 2 and Tier 3 observations, she goes into classrooms and observes our students, gen ed students, remind you. She observes them and then writes observations and works with those teachers on how to work with those behaviors with those students. And she's done 139 of those. So it's pretty incredible what she's been able to do. I think she might be a little exhausted, but it's okay. It's okay, we keep her busy. And she's still writing plans, and we only have 6 days of school left. So she's still going. Energizer Bunny there. And that is it for me. That is it. Those are my numbers. Any questions about any of those or? Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Ginger. That is amazing. It's all wonderful, but the Mind Over Matter program that gets a hold of the kids who have had an inpatient stay. Sometimes those kids get out and they just were getting lost and they weren't getting the help they needed. So it's all wonderful. So thank you for that. All right. Next, we have our security updates with Lieutenant Christie.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm going to echo what she just said about the mental health stuff. Ginger and her crew does an amazing job, and often we see that mental health really relates to a lot of delinquent behavior that falls into the security realm, and they're doing a great job. I'm happy to report it's end of year. We really haven't had any major incidences all year as far as security stuff-wise. We've had the regular fights and, delinquent behavior, but nothing that's just been terrible. And I think we're doing a really good job of identifying the triggers before we get to that point. And I think Ginger's done a great job with her team of doing that. As far as an update from us, we are so happy that school's almost over. We did drug dogs this morning. Nothing substantial to report there. Our kids are acting right, which is great. I think we had the dog alerted on, I think, three instances, but no findings, which is great. A lot of times that's just residual smell that they pick up maybe from their house or wherever they've been, and their clothing or backpacks still smell of, usually marijuana, because that's a hard odor to get rid of. But no findings. The kids seem to be feeling safe. They're feeling good. They're excited to be done. If we can get through one more week and keep it all good, I'm going to call it a win. And graduation. Yeah, graduation, of course. That's a big event. But we've done it. We know how to do it. I'm pretty confident in it. So, question? I don't even know what that means. So I guess, what is the Chromebook challenge?
So it's on TikTok or social media where they're encouraging students to stick something in the charging area of the Chromebook and it sets it on fire. It's the whole thing.
What a great idea. Who comes up with this stuff? I haven't heard of any of those instances.
Now that it's been on the news
Now you probably just set it off with that. TikTok is fun in some aspects, but most of the time we see those goofy challenges, and most of them are harmless. And then we get those weird ones like that. That's a new one. I haven't heard that yet.
We had a few incidents of that at one of the junior highs last week. So, yeah, stupid's contagious.
There you go. Yeah, if it's out there, I'm sure it's happening. Anything else? Any other specific questions? Nope. All right, thanks.
Okay, the next thing is the health update, which I really don't have much. It's the end of the year. We're not having a lot of flu or anything like that. We have the stomach bug as always. That is an ever-present illness. The more we have are playground accidents right now, more is the issue, and those aren't contagious, but they seem to happen in bunches like that. But health-wise, everything is going well. I've had an unusual year with staffing. I lost 2 nurses during the year, and I'm losing 4 more at the end of this year. And that's a third of my staff, and it's all for different reasons. 2 are staying home with their kids, 1 is moving, just things like that. It's just all life issues, but it's presenting a challenge, just trying to get all those spots filled and finding the right people for that. So we're going to work real hard. We're starting interviews next week to fill some of those spots, and we're excited to see what we will have next, because the nurses I've hired lately have just been amazing and have brought great things to the group. So I know it's going to ultimately be a good thing, even though I hate losing the people that we've lost. So, all right. Is Rebecca here? I haven't seen her. Okay. All right. Well, she's real busy right now with all this end of the year stuff. And if she were here, she would probably have a lot to tell us. But we will just wait to hear about that next time. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is, as we discussed at our last meeting, we did form a subcommittee to discuss the drug testing policy. We did make some suggested changes to you guys that we will vote on in just a minute. But before I do that, I just want to thank the committee members, and if I left anyone out, please tell me. Jansen, McDonald, Adrian Eaglin, Sherry Phillips, John Cagle, Ryan Calden, Ginger Robinson, and Tammy Willoughby. Did I miss anybody? Who's up? Oh, how did I miss you, Bo? Oh, I'm so sorry, and Bo Livingston. So we were so thankful for this group. They got on the phone and they called other districts and found out what their policies are, and that's not an easy thing to do because they're calling people that are really busy and probably don't want to stop and talk about drug testing policy, but they did it anyway, and they got lots of good information. So we are very appreciative of this group. So if you will take out the paper, first of all, I have listed the current guidelines. That's what we've been using up to this point. This is not policy, these are guidelines that we've been following. So we have really 2 major proposed changes. First of all, well, 3, I guess. First of all, we are no longer going to prohibit participation for first-time offenders. So if it is your first positive, in the past we have said you can attend practice, you just can't participate. Well, this punishes the team, this punishes you really, you get out of shape, you lose a lot maybe during those 10 days that you're not there. So we felt like that maybe that wasn't a necessary thing to do anymore. They still cannot participate in games or performances or competition of any kind, but they can participate in practice. So that's the first change. The second change is we have removed the drug education 45-minute session that we were having these kids do with counselors. As we spoke with other districts, they felt like, and we felt like, that maybe that wasn't really that productive. We weren't telling kids anything they didn't really already know. And were they taking that information and using it? Probably not. I've got counselors out there saying no, they're not. So we had a district that we found that put a community service piece in there. And so, as the committee discussed, we decided that perhaps a better option would be to require a 6-hour community service time for these kiddos. And we don't want them going off just to anything they want to go to, or, going to their dad's work, or, whatever, some community service that doesn't mean anything. So Ginger and I this summer, we're going to sit down and we're going to make a list of acceptable community service spots for these kids. And we're hoping just forcing them to give back a little will maybe help more than just sitting with their counselor and watching a video.
And they will have a form that they will have to return to
Yes.
the counselor. So we will still be involved with it, so our counselors won't lose that connection with them. That's one thing we have been able to build, is that connection to know our students who are in need. So they'll still have to bring the form back to us, but, and the counselor will sign off on that.
Yeah.
Oh, you sure can.
Yes, yes.
You sure can.
Please, please,
Yes.
please. That's
Yeah.
great. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, we are going to ask for who needs our assistance, and we will make sure that organization knows that we are partnering. So when they get one of our students, they know that they need the 6
kinda
hours.
know why.
They know why.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And
Right.
then we can get feedback from you guys if there's an issue or a problem
Yes.
that we need to address. So that's the those are the two huge changes. The last one was we were requiring the student to on a first-time pause. Oh, wait, let me back up for just 1 second. I just want to remind you, too, on the second and third positive test, we require outside counseling for the
Yes.
kids. So they will have to get real drug counseling, not just drug education. If there's a second and a third, they have to get this drug counseling before they can come back.
Yes.
So it's not like we're just dropping that and forgetting it. I've had so many kids that have tested positive one time, and that's it. They really do turn around. So I have some that don't as well. I mean, there's both. I'm not going to lie to you, but I would definitely say the majority do subsequently test negative. So we want to make sure we're not losing these kids, and we want to make sure the time that we're requiring of them is valuable. The last thing is, we're not going to make them retest negative in that 10-day slot. So many of our positives are marijuana, and that takes time to get out of the system, that requiring them to retest negative within 10 days to return to their activity also wasn't productive. It was also hard to do because the drug testing, it might be 3 weeks before we were having another session of random drug testing. So it was hard on them, it was hard on us, we knew they were going to test every time for the rest of the year. So it wasn't like we weren't going to be watching them. We just don't require a negative test to return to the activity on the first positive.
And
This is all the first positive.
And we learned this from other districts who are doing red. We didn't just,
Yeah, there were so many districts that don't require negative tests at all, which I disagree with that. We need to make sure they're testing negative after that first positive. But all right, now is the time for discussion and questions. What questions do you have about what the committee came up with?
how we came up with
How
that.
we came up
The
with it.
members are here, so.
Yeah, we've got most everybody's here, so.
Any concerns?
Okay, go ahead. Okay. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. All right.
That they can practice with their team, with their organization, that's really important, because it does hurt the team, and, when they come back, they need to be ready to go right away, otherwise the finisher endures longer, so I think that's
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. White. Also, if they're not participating in practice, they're very visible to their peers, and they will have to give them an explanation. And one of the things that we stress with these kiddos is this is private, that people don't have to know about this, that it's, it's me and their principal and their coach or their sponsor, and that's it. Now the counselor will know, but on that first test, there's not as much of an interaction there. So we don't want the kids to be embarrassed. Anything else?
Okay.
Wow, I expected way more discussion. Did we just do a good job? Is that it? But I must say, it was, there was a lot of information gathering that went on in this, and I just hope you know that we did not make these decisions lightly. The things that the conclusions that we came to based on information that we had gathered from other places and just our experience, so.
Melissa, what will be your procedure like if this happens to a student? That are they given like this list of organizations that they are expected to go and
Yes.
contact that organization to set up
Yes.
volunteer hours?
Yes, we're going to try to make it their responsibility. I think that is, like you said, it's more meaningful if they take ownership of that. Now, some kids are going to be resistant, and they're not going to want to do it, and then they won't get to return to their activity.
And we had some that required a lot more community service
Oh,
than
yeah.
6 hours. So
I'm concerned a little bit about 6 hours in that 10-day period. That's quite a bit, with other school and, some of them probably have a job. So it's not going to be an easy thing necessarily to do that. And we didn't want it to be easy. We wanted it to be challenging and, like I said, for them to have to take ownership of their own behavior, basically.
And so I don't know how many of you know this, but once there is a positive, the principal and Nurse Bousquet, and now we're going to have this coach or sponsor, will be in that meeting with the student and the parent. So they will be all discussing this. So at that time is where we will talk about the community service expectation, what the expectations are, and then the coach will also, we realized maybe our coaches sponsors weren't as involved as they should be, and so we're going to really include them in the conversation as well. So that's how that information gets. They have a meeting to discuss it.
Go ahead, Bobby.
In the unfortunate event that there's a second or a third positive, are we going to give them a list of places where they could do that outside drug counseling?
Yes,
And is it at the parent's expense?
we will.
Yes, it has to be.
Yep.
That way there's no reason they would say, well, I don't know where to go. We're going
And-
to show them.
Right.
Sherry was also on our committee, and we talked about REACH even being able, they can reach, they can contact REACH. We have an MOU with REACH, and they can also come into our schools, they can work with those kiddos. So we've got some options if they should get to second and third where they're having to have private sessions.
And our services are free.
Yeah, okay, good.
Oh, well, that's good. I
Yeah.
wasn't even thinking about that. That's
Yeah.
good.
Listen.
You talk about the extracurricular, but part of the kids who get tested are drivers, and that may be the only thing, is that they drive to school. So
Yeah.
how does this affect a driver?
Well, that is the most challenging category. I will tell you that. But they can't drive on campus till they complete that. Now, there's no person to call in and
Yeah.
support them, so it's just going to be the principal, the counselor, and me, basically.
Yeah, that one's always been difficult.
It has.
But we're also talking about involving, we're going to have to do more pre-work on our end. You're up here in a minute, we're going to show you the presentation that we want all students to get. And so when they do sign up to go get a parking sticker, which they have to do, where they will, we will somehow get them the presentation. Also, parents have to sign off on this inside of their enrollment packet. We're going to put a link to this presentation in there as well so that they can find that. We're going to put this on our website. We just need everybody to know what the expectations are. We're going to do a better job with that as well.
Yeah, if you said this, I apologize. We're also going to have it part of the orientation at the high school and the junior highs. They're going to get it there. Also, coaches and, directors and sponsors, they are now going to need to present this material to the kiddos so they don't forget.
They're going to be required to show
Yeah.
it to them.
I get parents all the time when there's a positive call me and say, I didn't even know my child was drug tested.
Or that they signed up for it.
Yeah, that they signed up for it. So, I have to send them the form that they signed. You know how it is. I had one or two kids myself, and you just sign stuff. You may not necessarily read it. So we're going to do a better job of educating not only parents, but also coaches, sponsors, directors, all those people. Will need to know the policy so they can share it with their kids and say, look, we're dependent on you.
Yeah.
This is the policy. You are potentially going to be drug tested. So we're just going to do a better informational job than we've done. Any other questions about that? All right, well, I will entertain a motion to accept the changes proposed. If anyone would like to make that motion. Okay. Okay, Ricky, would you like to second it? Yes. Okay. Yeah, we got his name. Okay. All right, so we have a motion by Ricky and a second, and all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, it's carried unanimously. And again, thank you, committee members, for your contribution. And I feel bad that I left Bo off because she was literally the first one that had all the information on there. It would be her that I would leave off, but anyway,
So
everybody was great.
Since that passed, we're going to show you now what we will present to our students. This will be so the other thing we discussed as a committee is we needed one presentation that everybody sees, that everybody gets the same information so that we're not, well, where was that? Where is it? I can't find it. So, and we were able to talk to our Director of Fine Arts at our DLT meeting and to our athletic director, and they are committed to getting this information out to our students. Our CTE director was there, our principals were there, so they know that this information will be coming starting the next school year. So I'm not going to read every slide, but I just want you guys to see. We talk about, first of all, why random drug testing, and this basically is just saying it's our WISD policy. That's why we do it, because our board feels that this is something that is very important for our students, and it is written into our policy. We talk about our goals. It's to give our kids a reason to say no. It's to keep them safe and healthy. Once again, it's not punitive. We're not trying to this is totally different than when the dogs that Chris talked about come and sniff. Totally different. That is punishable.
That's a disciplinary policy.
That's a discipline. Ours is not. So we want them to know that. We talk about who is eligible for random drug testing. This is everybody that we've listed, all of our organizations. It doesn't matter what you're involved in at Waxahachie ISD, grades 6 through 12. Seventh through 12. You will be part of this, and of course, anybody that drives on campus. We have a slide in here for our parent and student requirements. It just talks about that the parents will have to complete the forms and that the students will have to be respectful and abide by the random drug testing if they get chosen. We have had a few that have chosen not to participate, but we would like them to. If they don't, if they refuse, they are on automatic negative. I don't know if y'all know that, but they're an automatic negative and they have to abide by, I'm sorry, automatic positive, and they have to abide by the rules.
Just like they tested positive.
Yes. We go into testing procedures, just talking about the selection method, the random drug testing and how they're chosen, our testing process, our 5-panel drugs, we tell them what we're testing for, and then we go into the consequences. There is parent notification once we get the results. Nurse Bousquet sends those to the campuses. We set up a parent conference with the student and the sponsor principal, so everybody that is there. Talks about our consequences, what we just approved. And then the second positive, of course, we did not change anything with that. It does then go to a 90-day school, and they cannot participate. Then we get into a little bit heavier consequences.
Yeah, some districts are way stricter about that as well. So I like what we do is it's not overwhelming. It's a lot, but it's not, it's still doable.
Yeah. They will have to complete the drug sessions outside of WISD, and then the student does have to test negative before they can be allowed back into their activity. Same thing for third, except it's 180 days that they will have to be out. There is an appeal process that is in our board policy as well, so we list that so that parents and students will know. We talk about confidentiality, about who are the only people that know. Again, this is not a part of their permanent records. It is not something that it's only just the people in the room that know about it.
It's truly a need to know.
And then the last, we just list our resources of our company who does our drug testing, our board policy. And then we list who they can reach out to. If you'd like your name added to this, just tell me who you are. But that's it. We just needed something that every student saw and that every student understands, because we kind of learned working with some of our sponsors that our students didn't really even know what the policy was about.
Or the sponsors.
And we've been doing this since 2019, 18? I don't remember.
17, I believe, because we did it a couple of years before COVID.
Yes.
And
And
then-
so we learned it's like with anything, you go out with a bang, and we learned all the, we did parent presentations, and we did, but then each year, something else came along. So we're gonna up our presentations and make sure that all of our students know. It'll be part of for beginning of the year presentations, and our parents will have better access to this. It'll be on our website as well. So that's it.
Yeah. And another thing, Melissa mentioned the drivers. We know that not everybody that drives on campus gets a sticker to drive on campus, so we're hoping to up that game as well. And because if I don't know they're driving, I can't put them in the testing pool. So I need a better way of knowing who's driving on campus. And I know that's a fluid thing, it changes a lot. All right. Thank you, Ginger. She put together that presentation. It's going to be used, and I appreciate that a lot. All right, anything else? You guys have been wonderful. I will gladly accept a motion to adjourn. Christy Kubin, a second. Bo Livingston. All right, so thank you guys, and y'all have a great summer, and we'll see you next year.